What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you an update on Encased, which is a game that is currently in early access. However, it started off as a Kickstarter project, which I backed, and have been covering since. So in the last update for this, we actually were under the impression that the next update should have been the actual release. Now, according to the devs, Dark Crystal Games, the game is technically complete. What they're working on right now is polishing, as well as adding some voice acting, I believe, from one of their Kickstarter updates. But beyond that, the game is done, and apparently it's still going to be a little while, and they decided to release this update just kind of in the meantime. Now, as far as the game being complete goes, I'm inclined to agree that it probably is. Everything available in the early access is pretty polished. All of it works. There's a little bit of jank of it simply being a AA game, but beyond that, it's functional in pretty much every way. With that out of the way, let's talk about what patch 5 here actually brings. So for starters, new locations. So on the world map, this is primarily the bottom half of the map now has the locations added. There are several faction hubs that are still not in the game, but they're waiting for release to kind of show those off because spoilers and stuff. They've also added random encounters that have come with part 2 of the game, as part 2 was added recently in. They also added in the full crafting system. Now, what you can see here is what I can craft without a workbench. However, basically you'll go up to workbenches, it'll show you what's available to craft at said workbench, what you have the skill to craft, and materials. There's also an upgrade system now if you, again, have the necessary components and abilities. It's possible to upgrade weapons as well as craft things, but this is the basic UI, which is really what I was trying to show off here. They also revamped the crime system. Now, basically they just added the rest of the crime system. It was there in its basic form already, but Encased is a game where you can kill absolutely everyone and still beat the game. But naturally, with that comes a bit of crime. So if you attack someone, you'll of course get reprimanded, have a chance to apologize, all that, possibly taken to jail even. Most settlements have a jail that you can be tossed in. It is possible again to just go ahead with the fight regardless of this prompt. However, if you steal something or if some kind of crime happens, NPCs now have an investigation mode where they get suspicious basically and they'll start investigating. And if you're around, they'll investigate you and it kind of can go from there. They also added a variety of crimes, like if you're caught digging up graves, that's considered a crime. So just things like that kind of brought the crime system in full. They also made a low intelligence playthrough fully viable. It was in the game for a little while, then they took it out to work on it some more, and it is back, and apparently you can play through the entire game with a low intelligence character now, which has its own special dialogue and everything. They also added in skill books for your abilities. This works the same way skill books work in every other game. You find it, you read it, you get points to the appropriate skill. Companions had dialogue added in, just kind of make them more robust. But more importantly, they all have a shared inventory with you now. Instead of every character having a separate inventory, it's all just one big shared inventory, which makes things a little easier for everybody. And beyond that, there are bugs and improvements here and there that aren't really worth mentioning in this video. But if you're interested in more about Encased, I actually have a playlist for the game where I've covered all the updates and stuff. So if you're interested in getting caught up on what the game has to offer, that's a good place to go. But it is a project that I think is really cool. As someone who covers CRPGs pretty extensively, it's right up my alley, and it is very reminiscent of the first 2 Fallout games, but in a more modern take. With that out of the way, guys, truly, just thank you so much for watching. May you wander in wisdom, and have an amazing day.